Yes, what it means basically is that this is the first of a series of events which are taking place over this week. And the first one was tonight, a vote on Theresa May's New Deal, the arrangements that she had reached with the European Union. And this has been voted down. This means that we go into another set of votes tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening on whether the UK will leave the European Union without a deal or not. That is widely expected to be in favour of reaching a deal, and a no-deal scenario will possibly not be on the cards. And if that is passed, then we'll go into a third set of votes on Thursday, where the House of Commons will discuss and debate whether to seek an extension to Article 50. Now, we know, for example, that the UK doesn't want a long extension. It wants a short extension because it doesn't want to stumble into the European elections, which are in June. The EU doesn't want a short extension. It wants a long one because it has no faith that a short extension is going to be enough, and a series of short extensions could be very destabilising for Brussels. The European Council will also have to ratify the decision to grant the extension. There's plenty of will on both sides for this to happen, but as we know, time is running out. There are just days left.
So moving on now, we've got the Attorney General, Geoffrey Cox, has given his opinions on the vote. He said that it's very dangerous, basically, for the Brexit for Britain to be caught in this backstop, in the Irish backstop. The legal worries that he had, what did he mean by those? Well,
before we go into that, let's have a look at a series of clips of what transpired in the House of Commons today. We've got Geoffrey Cox, followed by Theresa May and the leader of the opposition, Jeremy Corbyn.
This is a question, Mr. Speaker, not of the lawfulness of the government's action, but of the prudence, as a matter of policy and political judgment, of entering into an international agreement on the terms proposed.
Let us show what this House can achieve when we come together. Let us demonstrate what politics is for. Let us prove beyond all doubt that we believe democracy comes before party, faction or personal ambition. The time has come to deliver on the instruction we were given. The time has come to back this deal, and I commend this motion to the House.
So let us be clear. The withdrawal agreement is unchanged. The political declaration is unchanged. The joint statement is a legal interpretation of what is in the withdrawal agreement. And the unilateral statement is the UK government trying to fool its own backbenchers because the EU has not even signed up to it.
So Cox there saying it's a legal risk to remain in the backstop. Theresa May's change is not enough to convince the rest of the House. What do we do from here?
Well, Geoffrey Cox's legal opinion was pretty crucial today. It practically guaranteed a defeat in the Commons for Theresa May. It looks, though, that she has gained considerable ground. The defeat is by 139 votes, unlike 230, which was last January. She's basically failed to gain a mandate, though, in Parliament, and basically the Cox opinion guaranteed that defeat because it was saying that the New Deal is not a legal guarantee that Theresa May can rely on to leave the customs union arrangements which are included in the backstop, and the UK would have to prove that the EU acted in bad faith in order to do so. He did caveat that by saying that both the UK and the EU have demonstrated that there is a will for the customs arrangements to be finite. So the legal, the doomsday scenario is unlikely, but this is not enough. MPs wanted legal assurances, legal guarantees, and because those weren't forthcoming, this deal was never going to pass in Parliament.
So it's all still a bit up in the air. Do we know what this means for Gibraltar, what repercussions this will have for Gibraltar? Well,
Gibraltar was mentioned in the Prime Minister's statement ahead of the vote. There was nothing new in it, just the repetition of the assurances that Gibraltar will be included in the negotiations going forward as we seek a new relationship with the European Union in the future. But the importance isn't the words themselves. The importance is the fact that there were words at all, that the fact that given everything that's on the line today, the importance of everything that's happening in the House of Commons, Gibraltar got a mention. So it continues to be in the collective minds of the House of Commons. The reality is that it's not in Gibraltar's hands anymore. You know, all the lobbying, all the meetings, that's all over. All Gibraltar can do is just sit back, wait, see what happens. In the meantime, continue its contingency preparations for a no deal. Let's have a look at what Theresa May said about Gibraltar. We'll also see a question that she was asked in Parliament and her reply.
We will always stand behind British sovereignty for Gibraltar, and the UK government negotiates for the whole UK family, including Gibraltar.
Can she confirm that well over 90% of the people of Gibraltar voted to remain in the European Union, and that if her deal goes down tonight, it will be essential that Gibraltar continues to have a relationship as close as possible with the European Union single market?
The deal that people will be voting for delivers the close relationship for the future that the Honourable Gentleman has been talking about. What it does is it delivers on the result of the referendum, but it also recognises the importance of a close relationship for us for the future with the European Union.
So the vote today, I mean, no one's really surprised by the results, but what does defeat mean for Theresa May? Is her position still tenable? I mean, where does she go from here?
Well, there's always been talks about Theresa May's future and her increasing position of weakness as every vote results in a defeat. She's made no mention in her statements tonight. I believe that she's still speaking or has just finished speaking. There's been no mention of resignation or moving away from her position. We know that, for example, there has been no talk of a general election, even though Jeremy Corbyn has been calling for that all along. Basically, at this point, any possibility should be entertained. We should not discard anything. We know that there is a great deal of uncertainty. The House today itself reflected that. You know what the House of Commons is usually like. There's a lot of baying, a lot of heckling. We saw a very sedate Parliament today. We saw that the positions between on both sides of the House, on the opposition and on the government side, were relatively empty throughout the day. There was a build-up towards the end, but it was a very sedate day. There's a little bit of concern now. Everyone is taking this very, very seriously, and Theresa May herself, as you will have heard if you've been following today's proceedings, she sounded rather hoarse and crackling. Her voice was down. You can tell that she's been through she's powering through. So there's a lot of determination to see this process out. And as I said before, as far as Gibraltar is concerned, all we can do is just sit back and wait and prepare in the meantime.
I mean, it does feel like she's going through the motions at the moment without much hope. I'm hearing that Jeremy Corbyn has indeed called for a general election again tomorrow. What do we expect from the vote tomorrow? I mean, it seems unlikely that the vote for no deal to be accepted. It seems no one wants a no deal.
That's right. No one wants a no deal. No one wants a no deal in the UK, and no one wants a no deal in the EU. So I'm pretty sure that both sides will do everything possible to avoid that. But as we said earlier, time is running out.
So there's likely to be an extension. Is that what we're hearing? Is it a possibility?
That will be the debate on Thursday once tomorrow's votes on a no deal has been carried out. So that's what the UK will, or the House of Commons will be voting on. Basically, Parliament is totally in control now in terms of where it votes. We've also heard this evening from Theresa May that tomorrow's vote will be a free vote, no whips. So. It's in the individual conscience of every member of Parliament tomorrow as to where we take the future.
So there is a possibility we'll be back to the drawing board as from Thursday. Thanks very much for joining us.